One of the biggest problems that I see with people who want to start media buying, they get stuck with what's the process? What's the exact process that I need to follow? Somebody just tell me, what do I need to do day 1, day 2, day 3 to ultimately become a media buyer? What I want this video to do is give you a little bit of motivation if you are starting the journey of becoming a media buyer. I want to share a little bit of how I actually became a media buyer, because I think that might be useful to hear somebody else's journey. Some general advice that I would have appreciated back when I started that I think will really help you set the mindset that you're going to need to be as successful as you can, as quickly as you can. And then, of course, the all-important stuff that you can take away from this video, hopefully implement immediately after watching this video and over the next few days, weeks and months. Things that will actually set you in motion along the path of becoming a media buyer. So just to clarify at the start what I'm talking about when I say media buying, I'm talking about digital media buying specifically. So that's running ads on Facebook, Google, Snapchat, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is. So where I actually want to start with this is how I became a media buyer. I hope by sharing how I actually did it, you'll see that there is no set way. It doesn't have to be a clean, logical structure of you do this, then you do this, then you do that. I actually think it's better and more realistic for that journey to be a little bit muddled, a little bit confused, make mistakes, learn from them, all of that stuff. I actually became a media buyer pretty much by mistake. So it was back in around 2018. I'd been living in Vietnam as an English teacher for a few years, and I'd just gone back to the UK to visit family for Christmas. And I was just curious about stuff that I've been watching about drop shipping, watching all those YouTube videos, make 10 grand in a month, this, that and the other. And I thought, I've got a bit of time on my hands, I want to take a break from the teaching, so I'll have a little go at it. So made a store, made absolutely no money, lost probably like £1,000 or something. But one of the things that I was doing with the dropshipping store is running Facebook ads. So a lot of the dropshipping bros YouTube videos at the time, they all used Facebook ads to actually run their dropshipping store, and the whole store is based around running effective Facebook ads. So I inadvertently learned how to run Facebook ads, and I was doing it for my own store. Carried on, made a second store, broke even with it, made like 2 or 3k in revenue, which just about covered the cost, and it was ultimately not a very interesting business model, and I was not very successful at it. Then I moved to Montenegro, actually met my girlfriend there, and I saw one day she was doing Facebook ads on a laptop, which was the first time that I figured out running Facebook ads or media buying was actually a job on its own. I just connected it to dropshipping. I thought it was part of that little package. Didn't occur to me that businesses pay people to run their Facebook ads. So I thought, wow, that sounds interesting. I made a Upwork profile, set up like a little about me page, and then I just started applying for roles on Upwork. Absolutely no real experience, just what I'd done with my dropshipping store, which is a very specific version of running Facebook ads. And within, I think, 2 or 3 days, probably very luckily, I got my first client on Upwork, paid hourly, and it was something like £12 an hour. And I think I charged him realistically per month, maybe like £400, something like that, so about $500. It was lead generation focused ads for a company in the UK, and I just give him my best crack. I bullshitted quite a lot on the actual calls with him and telling him what I could do and what I couldn't do, but sometimes that's the way that you have to go to get in the door. So I started running lead generation ads for him. Actually went okay, then it went very badly, then it went better, and I just learned as I was doing it. So I learned this doesn't work, that doesn't work through the experience of actually running those ads. Then it built up from there. I got myself another client, more lead generation, and I worked like that for about a year, maybe 2 years, just freelancing, picking up clients. I'd get recommendations sometimes. Sometimes I'd jump onto Upwork, throw a couple of CVs and applications out there, and I'd get more clients. A lot of the time, to be perfectly honest, I would get really bad results for the clients, and they would just leave in like a month or 2 months, something like that. But every client that I got, I learned more about how the platform works. I learned more about the different strategies that you can use, and I was constantly on YouTube, and that was basically it. I just sort of fell into it, and most of the learning that I did was on the job. I didn't do any courses, didn't go to university to study marketing, none of that. I just started practicing, started getting as much experience as I could. And through constantly trying to be better, constantly trying to get better results for clients, I became a better media buyer. And now to the point where I have 6-7 years of experience media buying. I've spent hundreds of millions on the platform for hundreds of clients, and I've now got my own agency, Lead House, which has been growing exponentially for the past 3 years, and we now actually have a couple of employees as well. So the journey of actually becoming a media buyer, it doesn't have to be like this. You need to go to university and you need to do this course and then you need to follow this step and that step. There's obviously guideposts that are quite useful to follow, but don't get bogged down in thinking that you need to find the right way to become a media buyer, because there isn't one. The main thing that you need to have at the start is just intention. So for me, the intention wasn't to become a great media buyer. The intention was, I want a job that pays quite well, isn't too heavy on hours, allows me freedom of movement, because obviously it's an online based job for the most part. And that was the motivation that drove me to want to become better at it. And when I saw clients paying me for the service, I thought, this actually works, and it carried on. And then subsequently I actually started to enjoy Facebook media buying, specifically the creative elements, and it's a very fulfilling feeling when you get really good results for a client and you see their business grow alongside your business. So that's how I started. It's not clean, it wasn't with a course, it wasn't following this, that and the other steps. It was just I had an intention, I followed the intention through, and I always worked as hard as I could to get the best results for clients. Now, a couple of useful pieces of advice on becoming a media buyer: focus on and learn the why of media buying as opposed to just the how. So one of the biggest problems that I see with people who want to start media buying is that they just want to know how. How do I do this? How do I do that? Somebody give me steps, somebody tell me what to do like a robot every single day. And that's just not how you actually learn something. That's how you imitate something. And what actually happens if you just focus on how, you watch all these YouTube videos with clickbait titles, mine included to be perfectly honest, of like the best strategy to use for X, or the best ad to use for this, or how exactly to set up this. If you just copy these videos and you think in terms of how do I do this, how do I do that, how do I do the other, you're going to completely miss the why. And the why is what separates a really good media buyer from a really shit media buyer. So a really shit media buyer might be able to set up campaigns, get decent results for a little bit, but what will happen to a shit media buyer is when something unusual happens, or when the platform changes, or the client wants something unique, you won't be able to deliver on your service as a media buyer, and you'll get lost and you'll start to get terrible results because you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. If you can understand the mechanics of how the media buying works along your journey of learning, it will give you so much more freedom and so much more scope for growth, and you will quickly be able to surpass 99% of other people who are just learning by copy, by how. The next piece of advice that I would offer to you as a person learning media buying in 2025 is that practice is far, far, far superior to passively absorbing knowledge. So if you just sit watching all the YouTube videos that you can and reading all the course material that you can and paying for this, paying for that course, but not actually getting your hands on an account that you want to run ads for a client, you're going to learn so much more slowly, and you'll actually probably become more obsessed with the understanding rather than the practical knowledge. So I would massively suggest, same way that I did, if you want to become a media buyer in Meta Ads, get yourself a Meta Ads account and start playing with it. Start just pressing buttons, don't launch campaigns, build campaigns to see how it works. Just play around with the tools. And as soon as you possibly can, get your hands on a live account with a little bit of budget and run some ads to see what happens. You will learn 10 times faster by physically doing stuff and supplementing with knowledge than you will by prioritizing the knowledge before you actually take action. The final piece of advice that I'd offer to a media buyer starting in 2025 is kind of tied to the last point that I just made, and that is, don't get lost in the questions in the early phase. So what will happen when you start learning media buying on whatever platform it is you will just have so many questions. There's so many moving parts to media buying, you will become confused about the simplest of things. So you'll be confused about CPM, what does that mean? Is it important? Is it not important? Should I optimize for click-through rate, or should I just optimize for the result? If it's a new campaign or a new pixel, do I need to warm it up with audiences before I use broad? All of this stuff. You will get completely lost in the questions, and you will probably end up getting frozen in the questions. And it will lead to inactivity or poor performance, or you'll just start to doubt yourself and think that you're a crap media buyer, you're never going to be good at it. So the last piece of advice is just don't get lost in the questions. There's naturally going to be a lot of questions because you're entering into something that you don't understand. But the most important thing with the question side of stuff is that they will fall by the wayside as you get more experience. You will see from experience why you don't run traffic when you want sales. You will get that from experience. You will make the mistakes and you will learn. That is why also I don't recommend paying for a course or trying to fast track your learning of media buying by paying someone to do it for you, because you're not going to get all of the value from those mistakes that you will inevitably make. And for me, those mistakes are worth far more than the course that you might pay for, which will help you to avoid those mistakes. Because when you do that, when you make those mistakes in the early stages, you're going to learn why something works the way it works. And as I said earlier, that is going to make you ultimately a far, far better media buyer moving forward. Now I wanted to finish this video with some practical, actionable steps that you can take immediately after you close this video and over the next few days, weeks, months. So as you've probably guessed throughout this video, I'm a massive believer in practical experience as a way to learn much faster and get a much deeper understanding. So the first step that you can take immediately after you finish watching this video is to decide which platform you want to become a media buyer in. So I know there's some people out there who say you should learn all of the platforms or you should learn multiple platforms. Personally, I completely disagree. I've built an entire agency specializing in only meta ads. And the reason that works so well for us is because when everybody else is offering everything, oh, we can do Google, we can do email, we can do TikTok, we can do Facebook, and then they speak to us and we say, no, we can't do any of those things. We specialize only in this. That gives us a lot more power in the market and a better position than those agencies, because people naturally assume if you do one thing only, you're going to do it very well. So as soon as you finish this video, choose which one platform you want to become a media buyer in. How to decide that is entirely up to you. I would look at things like which platform do you use personally, which one do you enjoy the most, what kind of businesses would you like to work with, because that's going to lead on to which platform is most suitable. If you want to work with B2B businesses, so that's businesses selling services or products to other businesses, you might be better with LinkedIn or Google. If you want to do B2C, then you might be better with Facebook or TikTok, something like that. But sit down, have a think about it, look at the kind of clients that you would want to work with, and then choose the platform. That's the first step. Very easy to do. You don't need to overthink it. Just choose, make that decision, and then you're ready for the next step. After you've finished watching this video and you've decided which platform you want to become a media buyer in, is to actually create an ads account for that platform for yourself. So let's say, for example, you just decided, I want to be a meta media buyer. I want to work with Facebook and Instagram. What you're going to do is go to business.facebook.com/overview, click on create an account. You're going to create a business account. You're going to create an ads account. And then you're going to start having a little look around all of the settings and all of the features that are inside the Facebook Ads Manager. You're naturally going to have loads of questions. You're going to be really confused. It's all going to look super intimidating, but you're already starting to learn because you've already just learned how to create a business manager account, you've learned how to create an ads account, you've learned what that looks like, and you're already starting to get a feel for the platform. The next step that you can action within the next couple of days, after you've decided which platform you want to become a media buyer in, you've created your own ads account on that platform, you've played with it a little bit. The next step is that you're going to go and find what would be your ideal client, a real business out there in the world. You're going to find that person or that business, look at the business, how it works, what are they going to be optimizing for, is it leads or is it sales? And then you're going to go through the whole process as if they were actually already your client, of designing the ad strategy, making the ads, setting up the campaign, the full build out as if they're actually your client. And you're going to learn exactly how to do that by checking YouTube videos for specific questions that you have, like how would you structure this campaign? How would I do a lead generation campaign? You're going to have to figure out how to make ads, how to do competitor research. So a useful video that you can start with here is one that I uploaded a few days ago, which is called The Ultimate Facebook Creative Testing Strategy for 2025. And I take you right from step one, where you've got the client, to the final stage where you launch the campaigns. And I cover everything from competitor research and analysis, ad creative and design, all the way through. So you could just watch that video and then apply it to your ideal client who is a real company in your area. Build out the whole campaign, go through the whole process. You're naturally going to get so much learning and experience from doing that. Obviously don't launch it because you don't work with them yet, but that's a great way to actually start practically using the platform that you want to become a media buyer in and working out how this looks when you're building it, how it feels, how the platform works. You'll find lots of little things that you don't understand that are important to understand. You know they're important because you need to do it now to build this campaign. So you're going to get specific questions and specific learnings which you can then go and find the knowledge for to supplement this practical work. The next step, over the following weeks or months, you've spent a bit of time with the platform, you know which platform you want to be a media buyer in, you've actually built out 2 or 3 of these example campaigns for ideal clients that are real businesses. You're starting to get a bit used to it now. The next step is to go and find your first client. So the way that I would recommend that you do this is you look either for family and friends, anyone in your network that you already know, who already have a level of trust for you, who have a business that would benefit from running ads on whichever platform it is you've decided to be a media buyer in. And just make them the offer. Tell them, I'm new to this, I've been practicing, I've built out accounts, I've done a lot of learning of how it works. I think we could get some great results for you. Mum, dad, uncle, friend, whatever, and just offer them, I'll run it completely for free for you. We'll just put a small budget in it, maybe like $500 for the month, and there's a good chance that we'll get you some really strong leads or sales. I'd probably recommend trying to start with lead generation first, as it's a lower barrier to entry. It's a lot easier than sales campaigns, but you need to find that first client and get your hands on a real account with real budget, get those ads live, and then start learning the data analysis element of media buying. If you don't have friends or family or someone close within your network that you can use to try and get your foot in the door and get some experience running a real campaign with some budget. Also the option of finding clients through things like Upwork, the same way that I did. So you can go on there, create an account. That's something else that you can action in the next couple of days. Build your account, put your experience in there, fluff it out a little bit obviously, and then start applying for local jobs where the requirements are not going to be too crazy. So it's just, you can tell they're small businesses, they need a little bit of lead gen, or it's a small e-com store and they just need to supplement their physical sales with some online sales. Start putting the applications out there, speaking to businesses who are looking for your services, and then you're going to start getting the experience of selling your service, presenting what you can offer, pitching, all of that. If you actually close this video and then go ahead and choose the platform, get your own ad account on that platform, start building out fake campaigns for real businesses that you'd like to work with, and then start applying for job roles either in person or online for your actual platform, you will have already started becoming a media buyer. You will already have started learning what you need to learn, and it will develop very, very quickly. And finally, for the specifics of where you're actually going to learn this information, where you're going to get the knowledge to become a better media buyer, I think in 2025, you don't need to buy a course, you don't need to pay for anything. Literally every single piece of information that you need to be a very good media buyer in 2025 is already online for free. So we're talking about YouTube channels, simply Googling questions that you have, using stuff like ChatGPT and AI to get a better understanding of a very specific question that you might have. Online forums, online magazines, it's all there. It's just a case of you actively going out to find out specific info. And the specific info you need, you will figure out by trying to physically do the task of delivering media buying results to a client. So the client needs to come first, and then you will start to understand what you need to know to actually get better on that platform and get better results for the clients. In terms of YouTube channels that I would recommend, there are really only 2 YouTube channels that I currently watch. So the first one is Dara Denny's channel. So she's a Meta media buying specialist, and she focuses specifically on ad creative for Meta ads. So if Meta ads is the platform that you're interested in becoming a media buyer for, her channel is absolutely incredible for learning the creative side. And the creatives for Meta, as in the actual ads themselves, are by far the most important aspect of media buying on Meta. So her channel, invaluable information on the creative side. And then in terms of running an agency, speaking to clients, acquiring clients, how to actually find clients, I watch Jordan Platten's channel, who's a British guy who's got a digital marketing agency, and his channel covers all of that stuff: communication skills, how to approach clients, how to keep clients, how to structure your offers, all of that, extremely valuable. And of course, you've also got many free sources of information from the platforms themselves. So for example, Meta, I'll leave a link to this, they have a page with many courses on various aspects of running Meta ads. Google Ads have loads of free content, loads of free courses that they've put together for how to run Google Ads. I'm sure it's the same for TikTok and all the others. So obviously you can go and find those, read through them. But again, as I said at the start and in the middle of the video, focus on practice. Practice is number one.